DT back with another video. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into this. So I finished this book by DJ Kenny Parker, which is KRS-One's brother. Fantastic book, great read, easy read. How many pages? What is it? 291 pages. I flew through it. You know, it was real dope read. Real insightful. It takes you back to when KRS-One was young and his brother. They're very close in age. KRS-One's probably a year older. They're very close in age. Like I said, sometimes they'll have the same age. They'll be at the same age, and then KRS-One's birthday will come, and he'll be a year older, or a few months or whatever. But this is a great book. It just tells their story, man. They overcame some serious obstacles, so shout out to them. KRS-One. Now I see a lot of things make sense now, like his reggae influence. Like he was the first to mesh reggae with hip hop. He did it on Criminal Minded, the first album he dropped in '86. But before that, the mother had these different boyfriends, these Rastafarians would come around, different Jamaicans, Haitians. Just that influence was there. One guy exposed KRS-One to Bob Marley, and he told him this guy's going to be large one day. But the downside to that was these guys were abusive to them. Like, the book gets real. So I highly recommend reading this book, man. It's a great story. If you're a hip hop fan, if you're a KRS-One BDP fan, and even if you don't know, just to know some hip hop history, because he called it the greatest true hip hop story ever told, and it is. It is. It's fantastic. It goes from when they were young. They both wound up homeless. This mother was, man, she was super different, man. Like, she seemed like she hated her kids. So Chris, he ends up leaving. Larry Lawrence, as KRS-One as we know him today, wound up leaving before Kenny. You know, he was in and out, but he eventually just stayed. And then Kenny was trying to stay, but he was dealing with the abuse from the mother to her yelling and just crazy. It's a traumatic story, man, but they turned out all right, man. Kenny wound up in the shelter, as KRS-One wound up in the shelter also. And there's some funny parts too. Kenny Parker's pretty good storytelling. He's funny. One part that made me really laugh was he told a story of him and his brothers were hit and miss. They were catching over each other different times. This is like I said, this is 80, like 79, 80, 81. So it ain't like it is now. You just pick up and text somebody. So they would catch up with each other on the phone or whatever. And his brother started making tapes. KRS-One started making tapes with a neighborhood friend. And this one tape he played for him the neighborhood friend had a German Shepherd. And there's this dog barking while KRS-One is spitting his lyrics, with this dog barking as loud as the rhymes in the music. So I bet that sounded pretty funny. So that made me laugh when Kenny was telling the story in this book. But yeah, man, just a great read. I don't want to ruin too much for you because it goes in depth with everything, all the way up to the books, the time frame. It takes you all the way up to probably 89, 90. The Blueprint of Hip Hop, it came out. And then Entertainment, I think they were beginning to work on that, or something like that, when Kenny had got down with him and started being his DJ. Because he wasn't necessarily his DJ, you know. Chris had his deal and was tearing up the club scene in New York. The whole battle with the Drew's Crew took place. Kenny was there. Kenny was in college in Jersey during the time frame. It's just dope, man. Like, and I remember what I was doing when the years when this stuff was taking place, you know. So it's pretty dope, man. Pretty dope. Great book. I give it that ratings. It's a 5, solid 5, and it sets up for a dope movie, man. It would be a dope film or documentary or something. Their story, super amazing. I recommend reading it, man. I recommend it. If you're a hip hop, like I said, hip hop head, BDP fan, I definitely recommend checking out this book. Like I said, I flew through it. I read in the morning, then I read at night. Just, you know, it's easy read. I just, flew right through it. Covers Kenny Parker's. It covers his college days. It's so dope the way it's like his story and his brother's story when they catch up and what was going on, and he didn't know like that Criminal Minded was coming out. You know, it's just so dope how it all happened because he was homeless and split off, and he didn't see him for a time period while he went to college and was hooping. Kenny Parker plays ball, and I got a feeling Kenny Parker, dude's like 6'7", 6'6", tall. They're both tall. I met Chris a few times. They're both mad tall, and Kenny Parker could have went pro. I think the circumstances around him had it been different, he definitely had, I think, the skills to go. He could have went pro. He went to a D1 school. He went to a D1 school in Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. I'm from Jersey. He went to a D1 school. was doing good. Seemed like he was a good ball player, but some issue with the coach, and he started getting benched and stuff like that, which it seemed was pretty crazy when he was a starter. He was a starter, I think, as a freshman. But yeah, it's a good story, man. It's a lot of, and go back a little bit to when he was really, really young. A lot of getting robbed in those days in New York, man. Those 80s, early 80s, 81, 82. They would go to the store, mom sent them to the store for money. Older guys there, checking their pockets, robbing them. Just crazy. And one of his friends, he's in a shelter, a friend of his, this one guy, I think he used to steal, but he got caught up, got killed, got burned alive, or body got burned, whatever. But just crazy circumstances that they had to overcome and to become where they are now. It's just dope, especially KRS-One. I mean, he left, and Kenny was painting a picture that, he knew. I've heard KRS-One tell the story that being MC is what he was going to do. It was no other. He was going to be an MC. Like, he set out, and Kenny was explaining how, and at that time period, to be now, and somebody can say I'm a rapper. It's like a dime a dozen. Yeah, everybody's a rapper or whatever. Everybody's doing it. It's tons of platforms, tons of rappers. Shout out to them. But in those days, it was like, what? Like, it was like the craziest thing you could say, because there was was only a handful of people doing it. And he said he was going to do it. He set out to go do it, and he did it. He met DJ Scott LaRock at one of the other shelters he stayed in, and they didn't get along at first. Then they came around to, have mutual love for hip hop, and there you go. There you go. And it just tied up a lot of songs and lyrics that, if Boogie Down Productionz music, KRS-One rhymes and songs and lyrics. It just ties up a lot of stuff. It's all accurate. Like the song Outta Here, so it's just super dope. Great book. Highly recommend it. I got mine on Amazon, and maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just knocked it out. So it's all complete. And hopefully DJ Kenny Parker go on a signing tour, man. I'd love to meet him, get this one signed, get that tag in there. But yeah, the story, it's so rich. Looking up right here, the Pyramid Group Home Shelter, that's where Kenny was staying. That's where his life started getting on track. He was hit or miss, didn't have the right clothes, right shoes, had one pair of pants, shoes with holes in them. It's that struggle, man, that hard struggle that no kid should have to go through. Mother couldn't buy him nothing, wouldn't buy him nothing, yelling at him, being abusive boyfriends. But great story, great book. Highly recommend it. I just wanted to cover some of the points. Then he goes on tour. He talked about the touring days. Him and Biz were friends, and Ice-T and Run DMC and Public Enemy and all the groups we like. All the pioneers, all the legends are in here because there's a close association with that time frame or time period when BDP was dropping. But yeah, KRS-One shot to #1, was killing it. Yeah, Self Destruction came out during this book, during the story. But yeah, real dope. So like I said, highly recommend it. Go check it out. And this is KUT. I won't say this is KRS-One. It's KUT. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Peace.